Chris Duration and Ham Radio. I'm meteorologist Chris Ward here in Morehead City, North Carolina, where the winds have been picking up and the rain. We are in a rain band right now from Hurricane Florence. The center of the storm is only about 45 miles away, not too far at all, and we're in one of those bands that is going to be impacting us for a long time. It's going to be crushing us for a while. You get these little lulls, these little breaks, and then it picks back up again just like that, and it comes up just like this. And it's hard to tell, though, the erratic nature of this, how long each individual blow is going to last. And because of this, we've been seeing many power outages. We lost power several hours ago, and it was only a few hours into the storm. Here it is. Been seeing some of these wind gusts getting closer to 100 miles an hour. And here's the thing, when we deal with this, it's one thing if you have a storm coming in that's at 100 miles an hour, 150. What would you rather have, though? It's what I'm wondering, what I'm going to ask Mike Seidel here. What would you rather have if you live in a community that's the storm's coming through? And that is, would you take 100 mile an hour winds for a few hours? Would you want 80 miles an hour for a couple of days? And unfortunately, that's what we're looking at here. The storm has gotten bigger, and so more areas are going to be affected by the storm surge and by these very strong winds. So with that here, we're going to continue to check the water levels, which now if you wanted to walk to the ramp down to the dock, you'd have to walk through water to get to it. I want to go back to Mike Seidel here in Wilmington, North Carolina. And Mike, what do you think? I mean, the storm isn't as strong as it was a few days ago, but it could last so long. I mean, would you rather take it for, 100 miles an hour for a couple hours or 80 for a couple of days?
I think by far from a insurance perspective, 100 miles an hour for just a few hours, because the long-term impact with the erosion and hours and hours of winds over 80 miles an hour just knocks down more trees, knocks down more power. So it's a tough choice, but I go with the 3 hours of 100 miles an hour. By the way, I've just checked my social media. I know a lot of you heard a loud bang about 20 minutes ago as I was tossing to our storm tracker up in the areas north of here, up to Topsail Beach. And that loud bang was a transformer that blew just very close by. It sounded like a gunshot, and it scared a lot of us, but that was a transformer that blew right here on the Intercoastal. So that's what the noise was. Otherwise, what you're hearing is the whistling of the wind as it rolls down the waterway here. We're about 2 miles as the crow flies. Wrightsville Beach on the other side. You can see those beautiful boats over there. They're bobbing up and down a little bit. They are protected, again, by a floating dock like I'm on. Also, remember that the barrier island is blocking those huge waves. Now, out there on the coast, we talked to the mayor earlier today, and he was out there. He said they've already lost a lot of sand, and that beach was just replenished by the Army Corps last winter. A nice wide beach if you were watching us on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with our coverage of Florence, and he said a lot of that is already gone. It'll be very interesting, and he even brought this up, what the beach is going to look like as we get through Friday night into Saturday as the storm pulls away and the wind field starts to break down. But it's a huge wind field, and now we're getting a lot of wind gusts north of here, between here and Cape Lookout. That's Morehead City, Surf City in those areas, the Emerald Isle, north of here, the Crystal Coast, over 80 miles an hour. And the big impact away from the coast is going to be those power outage numbers that will continue to rise. And the bottom line, the storm is only moving northwest at 6 miles an hour. So, Chris, the impacts will linger and loiter through tomorrow into at least early Saturday morning here. And we wait and see if the storm goes down the coast and has more of an impact on Myrtle Beach, or drifts southwest and stays north of Myrtle Beach. That has been the debate between the two models, the American GFS and the European model. Right now, the National Hurricane Center is trying to keep it north of Myrtle Beach as it goes inland and stays inland, so we don't have a second landfall.
And Mike, you're talking about that beach erosion, which is what we're dealing with right now ahead of landfall, whether it's 1 or 2. And I was talking to the mayor of Morehead City yesterday, and an illustration of the fact that these barrier islands are transient. They're made mostly of sand. So if nobody lived on there, these islands would move. In fact, there's one, a park just a few hundred yards off shore from where Morehead City is. And he said, when I was a kid, he's been in the city more than 60 years. He says, when I was a kid, the island, I mean, it has a lot of trees on it and stuff. It's not a sandbar. It has trees and bushes. He's like, when I was a kid, I used to swim out to it, and it was over there. I mean, and that was, it shows you that if you don't build on something, those islands, they're going to move around. That sand, the ocean comes and takes the sand, takes it away and puts it somewhere else. But we have buildings, we have houses now on these islands, and it is scary to think what this could look like when it's all over. And of course, here at the Weather Channel, we're going to take you through it day and night.